Today we're gonna make Portuguese sweetbread. This is a bread I grew up making with my grandmother and my mom, and it's a sweet yeasted dough, really springy, and tastes great with sparkling wine. We're gonna throw in 2 packets of dried yeast and a half a cup of warm water, and we'll leave this to bloom for about 5 minutes. Okay, so our yeast is looking nice and bloomed. Let's add the milk in here. Then a half a cup of sugar, a teaspoon of salt, and we'll mix it up. Now we're gonna add 2 beaten eggs, a half a cup of butter softened, so that's 1 whole stick. Now we're gonna mix it. And it looks a little crazy, but it's gonna come together. Okay, now we're gonna start adding our flour, and it's about 4.5 to 5 cups depending on how the dough's looking. So I'm gonna throw 1 cup of flour in here first and get that going. Keep adding a little more, and slowly incorporate. So at this point, I'm gonna switch to the dough hook. Hook in our dough hook. And add a little bit more flour. We're gonna let this knead in the machine here for about 5 minutes. Okay. And you can let this knead the whole time in the mixer, but I like to knead it by hand because I think you gotta get to know your dough. Feel it out. So you can see we're not sticking to our counter here. If we were, you could add more flour at this point. Okay, now we'll check it, turn it over, poke it, and if the dough bounces back, which it is, that means it's ready for the first rise. So we'll rub a bowl with some butter, throw our dough in there top side down, and then flip it over. So we want to get the top nice and buttery. And then we'll cover this with a damp towel and leave it to rise in a warm spot for about 2 hours. Let's check our dough. It's been rising here for about 1.5 hours, and it's about doubled in size. So you punch down with 2 fingers. It doesn't bounce back. That's how we know it's ready. Fold it in, outside edges in, and then flip it over and leave it to rise again. And this time it'll be faster, probably about 1 hour. Put the damp towel back over it and then back in a warm spot. So now we're going to throw it out onto our counter and start adding all of our fun bits. We're gonna add a half a cup of raisins. These are currants. I don't have raisins. And then a half a cup of almonds. Some lemon zest, about a teaspoon. And then a few scrapes of fresh nutmeg or mace if you have mace. That's probably better. Now we've mostly mixed in all of our raisins and almonds and lemon zest. So we're gonna cut this dough into 4 pieces. One of these we're gonna cut into 3 strands. Those are gonna be our top braid. So we're gonna create a double-decker braid. So we're gonna roll these 3 bigger pieces out into long strands. We're gonna let these rest, let the gluten relax a little bit, and we'll go back in and roll them out more. And in the meantime, we'll roll out our top braid. Okay, so we have our 3 long strands, and now we get to get braiding. This is where the fun happens. I'm gonna transfer these all onto the rack that we're gonna bake them on. So starting in the middle, bring the outside in. If you know how to braid, that's all you're doing. And then once you get to the edge, pinch that, so it'll bake all together, not separate. Okay, now on our sideboard here, we will do the top braid in the same way. Now we just set this on top. And there's our double-decker braid. And we'll let this rest for another 20 minutes. We'll cover it with a damp towel, and then she's ready for the oven. Okay, while our braid is rising, let's open some Riesling Fetneck. Okay, let's check in on our braid. Want it to be relaxed and feeling good. Our oven is preheated to 350, so we're just gonna throw this in the oven for about 45 minutes. It smells incredible in here. Ooh, nice. To make our glaze, we're going to sift about a cup of powdered sugar and mix it with a few tablespoons of lemon and water. And then we'll just drizzle it on top. It's cooled off a little bit, which is good, so it doesn't totally melt off. Okay, we'll let this cool and that frosting set a little bit, and then we'll cut into it. Okay, now let's see how we did. Looks great. So good. Tastes like my childhood. Sweet, yeasty. You can toast it and put butter on there. So good.